Thanks for joining us for another edition of The Small Business Show with Jim Fitzpatrick, exclusively on ASBN.com.
Hey everyone, Jim Fitzpatrick. Thanks so much for joining us this morning. AI is reshaping the future of work one team at a time. Should we be excited about the innovation or slightly terrified about this new innovation? Today we're talking about AI and the workplace of tomorrow. Here now is one of the world's leading speakers on innovation and AI, and he's also the CEO of Reinvention Labs, Mr. Dan Chuparkoff. So thank you so much, Dan, for joining us on the show today.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to dig into some of the details, try to help people navigate this sea of new changes.
Right.
There's some exciting stuff, and I'm excited.
Yeah, thanks for being here, and I can tell you that this will be one of our most watched videos, and on we could do a whole series on this, and maybe we need to talk about that because so many people are challenged with it. They've got a million questions. We've heard from the experts. We've heard from people like Elon Musk that have said this is the number one threat to civilization as we know it, AI. So how is AI changing teams and the way we work today? What are you seeing out there?
I think, first and foremost, AI is a powerful new tool, maybe the most powerful new tool we've ever had. My previous CEO at Google, when I was there, Sundar Pichai, used to say AI is going to be more impactful than fire.
Wow.
Like, that's a pretty
big, right up there with the wheel, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's gonna come, with some uncertainty and change and all those things. But fundamentally, AI is just a tool that helps us manage information a little bit better than we used to.
Sure.
And all of us, no matter what our job is, no matter what industry we're in or what our customers buy from us, we're all information managers.
Yeah.
We're talking to people, we're reading emails, we're creating documents, and all those things are dramatically easier with AI. And that's what I help teams figure out how to do.
Sure. So talk to us about that. What say you on this topic? Will this redefine the concept of, let's say, leadership out there?
I think certainly it will redefine the way leaders create new strategies for their teams, or the way leaders look at the market in their industry and try to figure out like what's going on today, what's going on this week.
Sure.
In the whole world, right? AI can look at all the world's information and create a nice digestible summary for you, and that's way more powerful than search. I used to go to Google and I would type any topic and I would get hundreds of thousands of pages. Now AI reads all of those hundreds of thousands of pages and gives you a single answer, combining the information from all of them, and that's pretty cool. That's going to change the way leaders drive their companies forward.
Yeah, there's no question about it. And it does it in seconds, which is just amazing, right? I mean, the fact that you've got all this information at your fingertips. We were, to your point, impressed with Google to say, wow, they're going to give you all these different websites and resources to go to and what have you. But the notion that AI will then comb all of those for you, come back and say, here's the most relevant of what you're looking for in a matter of seconds is just astonishing.
Right. Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah. What new skills do you think teams will need to keep up?
I think I talk to teams all over in lots of different industries, and one of the things that comes to the surface really quickly is that the way we defined intelligence previously in the world is things, right? Facts, you know history, or how math works, or whatever it is that you care about in your industry. Fact recall is now no longer that useful for people, right? But problem solving is a massively important skill that AI will struggle with forever. And so, the more people shift the way they think about work and expertise and becoming better at their job, the more they shift from just, I know the things, to I can solve any problem that comes at us, the more successful people will be in the long run. And that's the most fundamental thing, I think.
That's right. That's right. You know, there's so many people that are concerned is, will AI replace me? Will I have a career in a certain, if I'm a, let's say I'm a news writer or I'm a producer, what have you, will that replace me because maybe they won't need me now? Maybe, I mean, with all of the writing that we see done so on an expert level, you know, from AI. I'm just giving you one example right there, but talk to us about the concerns around job replacement.
I think the way I think about it is in some of the world's thinking about job automation and job loss came from the Industrial Revolution, where we had a factory and that factory was producing 1,000 cars a day. And if we automate some of that, we still can't produce 2,000 cars a day or 10,000 cars a day because we don't have enough steel. The belt doesn't move fast enough. We can't sell that many cars. All those things were throttling the production.
Yeah.
And so when you automate stuff, jobs go away.
Yeah.
But we live in an information world now, right? And there's an infinite amount of more information, right? Imagine you go into work and you solve all the problems that you know about, right? You just come in tomorrow and solve some slightly harder problems. If you're a salesperson, you come in today and reach all the customers. Then tomorrow you come in and you find more customers. That no matter how much we automate, there's always work in an information economy because there's an infinite amount of that.
Right, right. So need not worry, right? There will be work for you if you're concerned about the AI revolution, right?
I think that applies to almost every job. There are possibly some exceptions, but there's always problem solving. There's always imagination.
Sure.
You know, figuring out how to pull your industry forward. Those things will exist for a long time.
Are there any risks companies should be aware of?
Yeah, I think you know, one of the biggest challenges with trying to look at the whole world and synergize that information into a quick little paragraph is that it will blend information together sometimes that's not exactly true, right? It's like imagining, you know, you're searching for, I don't know, something. What color was Dan wearing at the Christmas party last year? And one person's website says I was wearing blue, and another person's website says I was wearing yellow. AI is going to pull both of those answers and say, Dan was wearing green at the Christmas party. Maybe that's not true because that's a blend of two disagreeing answers. And so always put a person in the loop. Never let AI do the work without you, and you will be successful forever.
Yeah.
Right? You know, you put AI on autopilot and you're not sure what it's doing anymore. That's where people start getting into a little bit of trouble.
Sure. I use Chat GPT all the time to write letters or emails, you know, to individuals, and it really makes me sound incredible. However, that being said, and I agree with you, I have to go through and edit a little bit and go, well, they're 95%, but I got to change this other 5%. A, because it might scream that I use Chat GPT to write the letter, or B, it's got something in there that just isn't relevant to the conversation at all, right?
Yeah, that second one is super important because you have context in your head that the internet doesn't know. Right? It's like when you're sending a text message, you can't just use autocorrect to complete the message and completely send messages to your friends without you. That would be silly.
That's right. So where do you think things are headed? What are you anticipating in the next 5 years? And by the way, when we're talking about AI, that is like an eternity, 5 years, isn't it?
Yeah, 5 years is certainly a long time. But there are some patterns in the world where there's a limited amount of change organizations can adopt at one time. And so that slows, even though some things might be technically possible, like theoretically we could build a robot that does some things, but you know, the ability for an enterprise to buy 28,000 robots and implement them and figure out what they do, that's impossible. They have to do procurement stuff and they need to find the budget. And so that slows technology down. So even though some things are possible, the world won't really change that much in 5 years.
Yeah, yeah.
The things that will change though are, your inbox, your emails will start to get summarized. So you're not reading messages one at a time anymore. You're reading like the newsletter about what happened in the world today. Right?
That's something.
And the way we search for information will change, the way we write documents,
Sure.
those things will all get streamlined. And then, we'll start recording conversations like this, and putting them in a database. So, 6 months from now, if you want to recall things I said, you'll just be able to look up, hey, what did Dan say about AI again? What's
Yeah.
the most important thing we should do?
Right, right. And with regard to using it on an ongoing basis, is it one of these things where somebody could overuse it and just rely on it so much that they get carried away with it, where everything, somebody just turns to it? I think there was a movie about this recently, not too long ago, where the person like fell in love with their AI person. But talk to us about that.
Yeah, certainly. I think when you think of AI as a computer program that searches information for you, then you're probably going to be fine. The more you use AI to search information for you, the better you will be, the more successful you will be as a business communicator. If you're using AI as a friend, right, that's problematic right away.
Right off the bat.
If you're just like, I didn't have anybody to talk to today, I can chat with AI and ask it how it's doing, and it asks me back. Yeah, that's dangerous. And there are already some examples in the world of some teenagers doing that, like starting to treat AI like a companion. And that we should really watch. If you're a parent, take a look at that behavior, because that's something we should intervene with.
I do know a parent that lives in our neighborhood that said they caught their child smoking, or they caught a pack of cigarettes in their child's book bag or what have you, and they actually went to AI, put in the scenario, and said, what are the top 10 best conversation starters, or what do you recommend I do? And they got back some really good recommendations. So
that's a great example. Like, the world has solved that problem before.
Yeah.
Right. And new parents are struggling with new challenges like that all the time. And so AI can sort of help them through, I think.
So would you say, to sum it up, would you say that AI is just pretty much the internet 2.0? Because that same parent could have put something in to Google, let's say, and say, hey, give me the top 10, and they would spit out the websites from child psychologists or whoever, right, to come up with this. And then it's up to you to decipher what you're going to subscribe to or listen to. Is that a good description of AI?
I think that is a good description, but what I worry a little bit about people saying, when I think about AI as Internet 2.0, what I really mean is it's search engine 2.0.
Okay.
When I used to go to Google and type like surfing in Hawaii, and now I go to ChatGPT and type surfing in Hawaii. It can do that, but it's also dramatically broader than that, right?
Yeah.
So it is Internet 2.0, and it's also search engine 2.0, and education 2.0, and communication 2.0, and anything that touches language is now the 2.0 of that.
Yeah.
And that's a powerful statement that we'll all start adopting a little bit at a time.
We haven't even jumped into the topic of AI generated graphics, or some of the videos that you see where a candidate or an actor or what have you says things that you think, oh my gosh, I can't believe that person said that, when in reality that person didn't say that. And it's very, very difficult for the average person, for any person, to really decipher between the two today. That's how advanced it is, right?
Yeah, for sure. And we've had that problem in text for a while, right? Somebody sends you an email message that says, I'm from your bank, I need your password because we're resetting our systems. You're like, that sounds sketchy. I'm not sure if I can believe it.
Right.
That problem now exists for video, and we're going to have to apply the same spam filters and stuff like that to help us through that situation.
Yeah, crazy.
Yep,
Dan Chuparkoff, one of the world's leading speakers on innovation and AI, and the CEO of Reinvention Labs. Thank you so much for stopping by and giving us your perspective on AI, because I know there's a lot of people out there that are watching us right now that maybe you put their mind at ease and also head them in the right direction to handle this, because it's a game changer for sure, and the next 5 years will be very interesting on this particular topic. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure chatting about it, and I hope I was helpful, and I'm looking forward to collaborating in the future.
Fantastic. Thanks so much.
Thanks for joining us for another edition of The Small Business Show with Jim Fitzpatrick, exclusively on ASBN.com.